If you're walking like this after a stroke whereby you're not able to bend your ankle upwards when you're taking a step, you may be having foot drop. In this video, I'm going to explain to you about foot drop and what are the causes and what you can do to address them. Welcome to Basically Physio. My name is Suresh and I'm a physiotherapist. A quick disclaimer, none of this replaces medical professional advice and I do this in my personal capacity. So foot drop is basically the inability to bend your ankle upwards when you're taking a step on your affected leg. So because you're not able to bend your ankle, the ability to move your leg forward is going to be affected in two ways. First, your ankle is not going to be able to clear the ground or the floor, and that means that your forefoot or your toes may be dragging on the floor. Second is that when you are eventually going to take a step and put your feet down, your feet may not touch the ground flatly, and this may actually cause injuries and also it may cause you to have a fall. So this is the reason why foot drops are actually important to be addressed either via exercises or via things such as AFOs, which is the ankle foot orthosis, which can help in this condition as well. So the reason as to why foot drop can happen is mainly due to three reasons. First is going to be due to tightness. That means you are actually having tightness that is preventing you from bending the ankle upwards. Second is weakness, meaning your muscle strength is just so weak that you're not able to bend your ankle upwards. And lastly, is going to be due to this involuntary thing called spasticity, whereby you're not able to control your ankle properly and it ends up pointing slightly downwards. So I'm going to show you a self-test that you can do to identify which of these three issues is your main issue, and from there we're going to teach you some exercises and some tips as to how you can do to manage this condition better. So for the self-test component, I want you to sit on a chair like this with your backrest supporting your back, and the first part of the test we're actually going to put your affected leg on your other leg here. That means you're going to cross your leg like this, okay? So for the first part of the test, we're actually going to find out whether you have tightness that is preventing you from bending your ankle upwards. So in a position like this, I want you to use your stronger arm to try and just push your ankle upwards, okay? So if you're having tightness or contracture as your main issue, you will notice that your ankle, no matter what you do, is just not moving up into a bending movement like this. So for example, if I have very tight ankles, it's going to be pointing downwards like this, and when I'm pushing against it, there is just no movement coming in my ankle at all, and no matter what I do, I cannot push it past to neutral position whereby it's a 90 degrees angle. So if this is what you're facing, then your main issue is actually tightness. And I want you to skip along to the timeline that says tightness and the exercises and the tips to help you to manage that. So now let's say you do not have tightness, meaning when you're moving your ankle is actually moving nicely up and down. Then the next thing that we're going to test for is going to be for weakness, okay? So in a position like this, I want you to try and see whether you can move your ankle in any form upwards, okay? So you're going to try to bring your toes towards your knee, okay? So if you can bend your ankle like this, okay, then that means that you have muscle strength, okay? Now what if you are not able to bend the ankle, meaning no matter what you do, your ankle just stays stuck down here and there's no movement at all? Or if you start to notice some flickers whereby your ankle is moving, your toes are moving, but it's not able to complete the movement, okay? So now if you're falling into the category where there's just no movement at all, or if there's some slight tingling or some flickers or movements happening, then your main issue is actually weakness, and you can skip along to the weakness category exercises that's going to help you for this foot drop. Now for the last part, which is going to be the spasticity test, what I want you to do is that you want to grab your entire forearm of your stronger arm and place it onto the feet like this, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to give a sudden jerk on your ankles here towards your knee, okay? So look at this, my stronger arm is just going to give a sudden jerk like this. It has to be quick, okay? It has to be quick like this. And when you do that sudden jerk, what I want you to see is whether your ankle goes into an involuntary movement whereby it's just coming into a position like this. So without me, I'm just showing you how the ankle may move if you have spasticity. Your ankle may just start to have some involuntary movement of like shifting up and down like this. Okay, so that is a sign that you may be having spasticity, but disclaimer is that this test that I just showed you for spasticity actually has to be done by a professional such as a doctor or therapist. So you may have done it inaccurately because you're doing it yourself. So if you're suspecting that you have spasticity, please get it checked with a proper doctor or therapist. They can actually help you do this test in a much more proper position and a better position as well to identify your true cause for this spasticity. So for tightness exercises, I need to have a long towel like this, and the first exercise is that we're going to start off with some stretching for the calf and the ankle. So using the towel, a long towel here, this is my stroke and affected leg here. I want you to hook the towel into the ankle here, okay? Hook the towel and actually make sure that the towel is on the forefoot area of the feet instead of covering the entire feet, okay? Just the front part of the feet will do. And then use your stronger hand to actually help to extend this leg out. You can actually sit slightly forward such that your affected foot is actually slightly more outwards. And in this position, I want you to pull the towel. You can use your stronger arm to pull, or your weaker arm and your stronger arm to pull it upwards this way. And I want you to hold this stretch for about 30 seconds, okay? If you're doing it correctly, you should start to feel some stretching movement, stretching feeling, sensation over the back of your calves here, which is your calf muscles here, okay? So I want you to pull and hold for about 30 seconds. Okay, hold for about 30 seconds. Really make sure you're pulling it backwards, okay, and feeling the stretch. So hold for about 30 seconds, and you want to repeat this for between 3 to 5 sets for a start, okay? A minimum of 3 sets, you can go all the way up to 5 sets if you are feeling okay and you feel that this provides you with some comfort. So once again, towel, I want you to hook at the front part of your foot, not the entire foot, okay? Just the front part of the foot like this, just the forefoot area, and then extend the knee, okay? Extend the knee. Of course, with all of this, you're actually going to be using your strong arm to help if you don't have the power to actually extend the leg. And in this position, just pulling it backwards and feeling the stretch at the back of your, at the calves here, okay? So this is you want to do for about 30 seconds. You want to repeat it for 3 to 5 sets. If you're watching till this point, I understand that you take stroke recovery journey seriously. And that is why I created this free 3-day stroke recovery jumpstart program, and it is actually downloadable and printable in a PDF format. Each day there's a simple focus that you actually have to focus on, and you can actually follow on the recommended things to do in this workbook. If you'd like to check it out, it is actually completely free. Just click on the link in the description below and I'll send it over to you. So another important stretching exercise that you want to do for tightness or contracture is that I want you to get into a standing position like this. But before you do anything, I need you to make sure that you have things that you can hold on to. So for example, if your stronger side is on the right side, make sure that you have a chair or support structure that you can hold on to on the side that is on the stronger side. Or vice versa, if this is your stronger side, then have something to hold on to. If not, you can actually hold on to something at the front here, so that you can actually maintain your balance as you're doing this exercise. So get yourself into a standing position and hold on to support if required. And for this demonstration, this is going to be my affected leg. Okay, so what's going to happen is that when you're standing up, you may not be putting much weight on this side because the ankle is tight. So hold on to a support structure either at the front or at the sides. I just want you to make sure your knee is able to be straightened. So straighten your knee first, and then consciously shift your weight towards the affected side, okay? So while holding onto the support, make sure your knee is straightened as much as you can, and then shift your weight towards the weaker side, towards the affected side. And in this position, I just want you to feel the stretch going down at the back of your calves area here, okay? So standing position, okay? Before you even shift the weight to the weaker side, straighten out the knee backwards like this, okay? And then just weight shift towards the affected side and hold it there. Okay, hold this position, meaning your knee is extended fully, and hold this position for a minimum of 30 seconds. And you want to repeat it for about 3 to 5 sets, okay? So this exercise is going to be particularly useful if you can hold it for a long period of time, because stretches has to be sustained for long periods of time. In fact, if you are able to stand like this for a minute or more than a minute, then it's going to be very beneficial for you. And every time you get the opportunity to stand, I want you to go into a position like this and really stretch out the calf muscles, okay? You will need a lot of repetitions and the duration to stand and put the weight through the leg. Then this is actually going to give you a much more effective stretch in the long run. With that said, do make sure that you have a chair behind, because this exercise may be quite tiring for you. And if you need to sit down, please go ahead and sit down and have a rest, and then repeat it again. If you're finding this video useful, do consider liking and subscribing to the channel and signing up to my weekly newsletter, Rehab Recovery. Now coming to exercises for weakness category of the ankle, I want you to use your affected leg here and actually same and position as a self-test, put it across on the thigh here, on the stronger thigh, and this is going to be our starting position for all the exercises for weakness, okay? So in this weakness category, you may be having either completely no movement at all, or you may be having some movement. So we're going to start out with those of you who are having no movement at all. It means no matter how much you try to activate your muscles, it is just not moving at all. The ankle is just not moving. So not to worry, what I want you to do in this position here is that using a stronger arm, I want you to just move the ankle upwards like this, okay? So when you're moving the ankle upwards like this, I want you to try one thing. As you're going upwards like this, try to activate the muscles at the shin area and see whether you can actually do it together with your hand moving upwards. So meaning you're activating the muscle as well as using your hand to lift up the ankle upwards this way. Okay? And if you find that over time, you are able to build this connection of activation as well as timing it together with moving your ankle upwards with your stronger arm, then try and hold it for about 1 second or even half a second. Okay? See whether you can hold this position of bending your ankle even for half a second for a start. If you're able to, that's a very good sign. Then you may be able to actually just do more repetitions of this and eventually have some control of the ankle as well. So a recap again, if you're beginning with no movement at all in your ankle, then using a stronger arm, I want you to bend it upwards, okay? And at the same time as you're using a strong arm to bend it upwards, what I want you to do is use the activation of the muscles on your shin to even move the ankle upwards. And if you can do it even for half a second, that's a good sign. I want you to do a minimum of 10 repetitions of this. Okay, so that's for those of you who have completely no power at all, meaning no matter what you do, the ankle is just not moving. Now, if you're in this category whereby it is just no movement at all, do not get discouraged, okay? You may be at a stage where your muscles are just starting to wake up. So continue to do this exercise and see whether you are able to even just have some flickers of movement. If you have some flickers of movement in your ankle or your toes that is coming back, that is just a sign that your muscle power is returning and you just want to drill up and do more repetitions of this exercise so that you can actually eventually build the muscle strength to actually move your ankles. Okay, now coming to those of you who have some form of movement, meaning you are actually able to activate gently, having some flickers of movement already. Then I want you to actually, in this position, just use your muscle power of the leg itself to bend the ankle up and try to bring your toes towards your knee as much as you can and hold it there for about half a second to 1 second and relax. Okay, so bend it up like this and hold it for half a second or 1 second and down. Okay, so I want you to do it deliberately and slowly. So do not get moving into a position like this. No, I want you to do it deliberately, meaning if you're going to activate going upwards like this, focus on the upwards movement and holding it for half a second to 1 second before letting go and letting it relax. Okay, so bend it up half a second to 1 second, hold it and then relax. A minimum of 10 repetitions for this if you are able to actually have some movement of the ankles already. So once again, for those of you who have some movement, using purely your muscle strength in a position like this is going to be easier for you. Bend your ankle upwards, hold it for about half a second to 1 second and gently lower it down and come back to neutral and continue doing for a minimum of 10 repetitions and a minimum of 3 sets. Okay? So bend it upwards, hold it for half a second to 1 second and relax and let it go. So now over time, if you're doing all the exercises in the weakness category, if you start to notice your ankle is moving even more and you're having some control, then the next exercise that I want you to try is actually seated up like this with your ankles down. And I just want you to, in this position, bring your toes towards your knee. Okay, so bend it up like this and hold it for about 1 second and relax. Okay, so this is just purely a dorsiflexion, ankle dorsiflexion movement whereby you're really using the muscle power to strengthen up your ankle dorsiflexors. So bend it up like this and relax. Okay, so bend it up, hold for 1 second and come back down and repeat it for a minimum of 10 repetitions and 3 sets. But at this stage, you must be doing a lot more repetitions and a lot more sets. So you can do 10 times 3 in the morning and you can repeat this a few times throughout the day and build your way to increase the repetitions and the number of sets that you do in a day. So bring your toes towards your knee, hold it for 1 second and relax and repeat it for as many repetitions as you can. So the last exercise for weakness in your affected leg for ankle dorsiflexors, meaning the ankle muscles that is bending your ankle upwards, we're actually going to do a modified lunge movement, okay? So for this demonstration, this is going to be my affected leg. So before we start in this standing position, I want you to make sure that you have something to hold on to at the front or at the sides so that you're not going to lose your balance, okay? So for this movement, I want you to put your affected leg slightly forward and your non-affected, your stronger leg slightly backwards, okay? So in this position, hold on to a support structure at the front here, like myself. Then I want you to shift 80% of the weight onto the affected leg, okay? 80% of the weight goes onto the affected leg now, and you're just going to go forward like this and come back, okay? So you may look at my knee is just going forward like this, and when you're coming back, that's where you want to try to push the feet down and bring yourself back. So instead of using your glutes and your trunk to actually push you back, use your ankle muscles to actually push and come back. Now, the most important part is actually the going forward part. So when you're going forward, I want you to actually slow down this movement by pushing your ankle onto the ground and control the knee from going forward and do it slowly, okay? So there's two phases of this movement. First is the moving forward. You want to go slowly and use your ankles to actually slow down this movement, and then pushing down your ankles to actually push back your knee backwards like this, okay? So it's a little confusing. There's two phases. The first movement, which is going to be the most important one, is slowing down your knee as it is going forward, and in this position, pushing your ankle and bringing your knee backwards, okay? If you're doing this right, you will feel some soreness over this portion of your shin, and that is actually a sign that you're actually activating the muscles properly, and this is actually strengthening up your ankle dorsiflexor muscles, okay? So for this, I want you to try for between 5 to 10 repetitions, and if you can do up to 3 sets, go ahead and do 3 sets for this. So coming to spasticity exercise, the first thing that we're going to do is actually quite similar and same exercise as the one that we did for your ankle tightness. We're going to use a long towel like this, and we're going to do some stretching for the calf, okay? So using the long towel, I want you to hook at the front part of your foot here, the forefoot and the toes region, and then extend your leg out like this, okay? And using a stronger arm, just pull it backwards, and you want to pull and feel the stretch at the back of your calves area down here, and you want to pull and hold for about 30 seconds. Okay, you can also use your weaker arm if you have enough strength, and then holding it for 30 seconds, and you want to repeat this for about 3 to 5 sets. A minimum of 3 sets, and if you can do up to 5 sets and you find that it gives you comfort, go ahead and do up to 5 sets. 30 seconds times 3 to 5 sets, you can do this a few times a day if it provides you with some relief. Now for the last exercise for spasticity, what I want you to do is actually get into a standing position like this and make sure you have something to hold on to at the front here, okay? So for this demonstration, this is going to be my affected leg, okay? So in this position, what we are going to do is, while holding onto a support structure, we're just going to go into a tiptoe position and come back down slowly, okay? So we are going to go into a tiptoe position like this as high as we can, and the main movement is actually coming back down slowly, okay? So go up high and come back down slowly, okay? The going up is not the focus. Once you're up, the coming down, okay? The slowly coming down, that phase of the movement is what we are focusing on. So hold on to a support structure here at the front, tiptoes, and come back down and slow down as you bring your heel to touch the ground, okay? So for this, I'm going to try a minimum of 10 repetitions and a minimum of 3 sets, okay? For those of you who are looking for a bit more challenge, what you can do is that you can actually shift more weight onto the affected leg. So for example, this is my affected leg. I'm going to shift more weight towards here and then do the pushing up and coming down slowly. Okay, so more weight onto the affected leg, going up and coming down slowly. Okay, so a minimum of 10 repetitions and a minimum of 3 sets, and make sure that you have a chair behind you so that you can actually always sit down if you are getting tired or if you lose your balance and need to sit down for a rest. If you have found this video useful, do consider checking out this video whereby I go through a full upper limb recovery workout. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.